Welcome to The Real Wine Show, a wine game show wrapped in a talk show, wrapped in a podcast about wine. I'm Matt.
And I am Chad.
So our first segment is kind of like Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. We're calling it Spot the Corker, where we read possibly fictitious news pieces and ask each panelist to decide if they're true or false.
The second segment is the emotive blind tasting, where instead of relying on the usual descriptors like what kinds of fruits, how much tannin or acid the wine has, we ask our panelists to taste the wine and tell us a story about the wine based on how it makes them feel, like perhaps a memory, or if the wine were a person, what kind of person would it be?
You know, think of it less of a game show and more of a wild discussion about the wide world of wine. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, so let's meet our guests for the next round of The Real Wine Show. And Matt, why don't you do the introductions for our esteemed guests?
All right. We have Saul Sharino, Diego Aliste, and then we have Jimmy Bates. And we are so happy to welcome them here. Kind of just introduce yourselves, where you work and kind of who you are as a person, you know, your likes, your interests, you know, what are your hobbies, any like kind of like fun extra hobbies like that people don't know about, or maybe ones that you'd like to like maybe get into in the future, you know. No.
He's making this sound like a dating show. It's not that. It's just, but yeah, Sal, why don't you just give us a little, your brief history in wine so we can know who you are.
Sure. So I owned Decanter and Coupe Imports. So we're a fairly new import company that we went live with inventory in September of 2022. And it's been great. You know, I started in restaurants initially, then got into working on the distribution side of things. And this was, you know, an idea of starting our own company. My wife and I was kind of in the background for a while. And when 2020 happened and all the shakeup that went with that, we kind of looked at each other and said, well, if it's not now, it's probably never. Yeah. And, took a little while to put everything together. But, like I said, we've been live since the end of 22, and things are going great.
Nice. Diego, do you want to?
Yeah, I started working in specialty foods, I think in like 2012 or so. Worked at Zingerman's for a bit. Ran a cheese program, which is super fun. I know cheese very well. Did that, and then I started working at Spencer, Ann Arbor. That's where I met Chad. I was still running cheese stuff, and I was like sort of getting into wine. I legitimately never drank wine like that, but then I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't until I left that I started liking it more.
Yeah, right.
Moved to Detroit, and then worked at Western Market for a couple years. Ran that beer, wine, at the whatever you don't need program. I would buy that as a specialty buyer. And then, did that. Worked at Roses for a bit. Shout out to Molly, great lady. And
yeah, by the way, do you have any idea what Molly's new project is? I know the Roses.
There's no personal project, but she is running the Detroit Boxing Gym, which runs
I did see that. That's right.
Nonprofit for after-school programs.
Yeah,
so,
well, it is a loss for the Detroit scene anyway. Roses was was a really cool
I
place.
definitely miss the employment part, but also just what it was. But now I am at Frame in Hazel Park, wine director. Yeah. I'll also buy all the beer, which is fun.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice. Jimmy.
I'm Jimmy. I work for T. Edward Wine and Spirits. I'm one of the national sales reps. So I cover 9 states. I've been in the industry, started off as a beer buyer probably like 12 years ago. Did like beer buying, spirits buying, then wine buying, then jumped over, did merchandising for a while, and then did some chain sales for a big company in Chicago, and then moved into more boutique wines with a small company called Lanyap. Worked there for a couple years before moving back to Michigan. My wife and I are from southeastern Michigan. Okay. So when I moved back, I started with T. Edward, and I like fly fishing for Matt's hobby.
Oh, see, yeah, there's a point. Nice. All right. At the end of that, you guys are all equal. Jimmy had a few taken off because it wasn't long enough. So everyone's at 2 points starting out. All right. Chad, you want to read the first one here?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump into that. Let's take it from the top here. This is a true and false segment, right? So we'll read our kind of fake news story for you guys, and then you'll have to decide whether you believe it to be true or false. But it's the same story for each of you. And it starts off with, we're going way back here, in 1545, weevils were arraigned before the ecclesiastical court for eating the canopy in the vineyards of St. Julian and ruining the harvest. Council was appointed and preliminary arguments heard until the presiding cleric ordered a halt in proceedings. The weevils, he ruled, had been acting as agents of divine retribution. The winemakers were told to look to their sins, and after the saying of 3 special masses, the weevils were left, or they left, yeah. 2 years later, in 1587, what? That's not 2 years, though, 1545 to 1587. That's okay, it was some period later. The weevils returned, and this time the weevils were brought to trial again. We don't know how it was resolved. The last page of the court documents were devoured by weevils. Okay, so I guess the question here is, were weevils arraigned, were they on trial in the ecclesiastical court in St. Julian for apparently their havoc in the vineyards? And then whether or not they ate the final court documents maybe doesn't matter. It's just really, were they in trouble? Did people try to...
I'm going to say this is probably definitely false.
Well, remember, we are somewhere in the 1500s.
The inaccuracies and the dates, and you having a hard time keeping it together, getting through the paragraph, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's false.
All right. Who wants to go next? This is a free-for-all.
I'm going to say false.
Okay.
Do I need to give you a reason why?
You can. It's a podcast.
St. Julian's left bank, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Dutch dried the left bank of Bordeaux, I thought, in the 1600s. But I could be wrong.
All right.
Real technical.
Yeah, I'll go false because of what Jimmy said.
It's true.
No.
It's true. Yeah. So the counsel for the defense opened with an argument from Genesis. His clients were undoubtedly numbered among the everything that creepeth upon the earth, and to whom the Lord hath given every green herb and for meat. They're just doing what they want, So they're entitled by divine decree to the fruits of the vine. The prosecution countered that the weevils were subservient to humans, in order of creation, and ought to therefore have left the vines alone. So attempts at conciliation followed, and the weevils were offered a tract of land outside the town, and they were forbidden to return to the vineyard on pain of excommunication. The trial dragged on for 8 months, and we don't know how it,
Hold on a second. Did you verify this story? How can you excommunicate something that's not... Weevils aren't in the church.
Who's got eyes on this? Who's
in the Middle Ages, there were pigs put on trial, horses, dogs.
It was a thing.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
Man, that's a career choice. 1500s lawyer is like the job I was born for.
1500s pig lawyer.
Yeah.
Pig lawyer. Yeah.
Cool, Matt. Why don't you... we'll be generous in our grading since... Yeah. But you want to do the next question, or shall I jump into one? You call it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So last week, news leaked that Moët Chandon just finalized paperwork to purchase Argyle Wine Company from the mega conglomerate Monster Energy Drinks. Monster Energy acquired Argyle when they purchased Canarchy Craft Brewery and Wine Collective in January of 2023. It's a perfect fit for us. Argyle is a sound winery focused on quality and has a large sparkling wine program that we aim to utilize, said Henri Peterman of Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton. We're looking forward to a bright partnership with Argyle. Is that true or false?
I want to say true. I feel like big corp, big liquid, once they'll take whatever. I think so. I think people are literally thirsty for like new ways of like, how can we tap into these kids?
I think it's true. I know that Monster recently like laid off like all of the Oscar Blue staff in Austin and just like gutted all of Cigar City, their like program as like running Canarchy.
Man, this is devastating because I've been a Monster user, I'll say, not a drinker, a user. It was definitely for strategic reasons. because one of my favorite, cyclists was sponsored by. Now he's not sponsored anymore. Like it just a couple weeks ago, and I wonder if this is all kind of like tied in. If Monster's like losing their shit or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's been a lot of consolidation and passing of ownership of brands lately. I just don't know enough about this to say for sure I think it's true. So just based off Vineyards, I'm going to say false.
Okay. Well, actually,
Wait, before we reveal the answer, how about if we do a quick glass check here? See what people have in their glasses, what they've been drinking. Jimmy, how about
I
you? What do you
brought
got?
some 2009 Vino Todonia Rosé. What do you guys think?
I think it's great.
anybody have any stories about Vino Tondonia? Or I'm enjoying it myself.
I think, yeah. I've always liked the value of these wines relative to the scarcity. I very rarely walk by like a stack or a shelf placement of Vino Todonia without grabbing a bottle.
How'd you get this?
I got it from Binny's Beverage Depot because anything worth drinking is at Binny's. Or if you can't find it at Binny's, it's not worth drinking, I think is the saying.
Nice.
Benny's in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Third Coast WAF is happening. Not sure when this is releasing, but 1 week out, I believe. I always make a trip to Benny's. Can we get a Benny's sponsorship? That'd be awesome. Benny's, send us some stuff.
They do have one of the best Scotch programs out there. They bring in a lot of really good single cask barrels that are unfortunately poorly received, and they always get closed out. So next time you go to Benny's,
Have you guys been to Benny's?
Oh yeah, I love it.
So let me ask you, this drinking is incredible as it is right now.
The Tondonia you're talking about, Sal?
Yeah, as a 2009. How much more longevity does this wine age and continue to drink like this?
I think my finding with this wine is it's very fragile, and I bought 3 of them, and this is tasting the best. I've had this one.
You were hoping for the best on
Yeah,
it.
I've had this one for about 3 years. I opened one with my wife, and she was not into it. So the last one's been in the basement waiting for a group of like-minded.
Well, I feel like if you gave
individuals.
this to someone that didn't have any prior knowledge, if you just said, "Hey, it's a rosé," with nothing
Well,
else,
that-
and they tasted it, they might be
yeah.
thrown off a little.
They'll
That
punch
would
you in
be
the face.
That would be a weak setup, but
Yeah.
if you're the styling, I think. I find the Tondonia stuff is actually very durable. I think it lasts a long time, particularly after, after you open it. It can really hold.
Have you had an experience with a much older vintage? What's the
Yeah,
oldest
Tondonia 70s,
that you've had? 70s?
70s, so
70?
probably 30. Yeah,
What was it specifically?
it was a Tondonia. I guess it was a red, if I remember right. I'd have to check my notes, actually. I don't remember, but yeah, I've had some old ones, and
Still kicking?
yeah, old, but interesting.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They're always late. They're always old or late. They keep them back, of course. They're released late, so
Right.
they're really interesting wines in that way, and that they're kind of already matured. And
This was bought off the shelf in maybe fall 2020.
Yeah.
At 2009 vintage. So
yeah, that's so cool. I think it's a real interesting thing that they
Yeah,
do with
very
that,
much.
and I guess the idea is they're supposed to be ready to drink when they release them, but
I
think
that
they can hold pretty good.
in certain parts. We were talking about Calabretta earlier. That is the traditional way. Wines were released when they just started approaching the drinkable window, and then therefore they would release them for purchase.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until a little more recently where it's go to somewhere like Piemonte, for example, where it's every new vintage release, you'll pump out the new vintage,
yeah,
It's,
right. Yeah, something that's kind of special. It takes some money to be able to do it, but
Well, yeah, that's it.
It's hard for
you gotta
young
be able to
wineries.
sit on that inventory for 10, 12 years before you release it.
yeah, not get that revenue. It's crazy. Yeah. So our last question was about Argyle and Monster Energy. Matt, what was the truth on that?
It was false. So, Crossroads Petaluma Winery in Australia purchased Argyle, and then it was taken over by drinks giant Lion Nathan in 2001. The current owner is Distinguished Vineyards and Wine Partners out of Kansas City, Missouri. They have a holding in Australia, a couple in, they have textbook wines. It's, a couple things like that.
Sure.
So Sal was the only one that got that one right. And
Out of ignorance.
Yeah.
All right. Out of ignorance. I'll take it.
So yeah, Monster Energy doesn't own, or no, Canarchy never owned any wineries. So that's yeah.
I was gonna be really thrown off if Monster had. I mean, I guess it shouldn't surprise me, but yeah.
Has anybody seen that like day one YouTube video, the woman explaining why Monster is the devil?
No. Oh,
No.
It's like,
Yeah, it's at just at a table, and she's got this thing, and it's all this symbolism of what it is and what it all really represents. Weirdly enough, she makes
what
sense.
kind of symbolism? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I
So
think I
like
know what you're talking about.
if you look at the claw, the three things, they're three separate sixes, or they're nines, and when you drink them your way, there's an upside down cross that you're drinking.
I think I've seen clips of this.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so classic. It's it's educational, but it's more so that like she travels with this information in hopes of changing people. You know.
Yeah.
jeez.
Get the monster out of it.
I like the Rosa Ruby. I don't know. Anyway, I'll revisit my Monster habit.
Sounds like you're a Red Bull guy now. Is what, is what I'm learning.
Who was it that was sponsored
Exactly.
by Monster?
Oh my gosh, the English guy from Colchester.
So you did what he did, and you can't think of his name right now.
Hold on. No, I watch him every day, every episode. Sam Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Of course, he was.
Any new sponsorships?
As
Things
far as
you're
drinks
trying
go-
out, just in general.
No, I don't know. It's fine. It's not a big deal. A couple times a week, guys. I'm not that bad.
Hey.
That's it.
I got it under control.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into our the next question here, which is a Napa Valley company has reinvented the wine cask and is poised to revolutionize the industry. Modern Cooperage has introduced a new stainless steel barrique incorporating a variety of innovations, affording advantages to winemakers, including reduced water and energy use, lower carbon footprint, what else? Reduced barrel room storage requirements, for example. It's actually physically thinner than wood, I guess, is what they're saying. They achieve, quote, ensured brand style consistency by equipping the barrique-sized barrels with a sealed, hand-turned center shaft with wood stave attachment points to allow flavoring and paddles to affect batonnage. Don't make that face. I'm trying to read this.
I'm listening.
straight.
I'm actively
All right.
listening.
Quote, winemakers seeking sustainable, affordable solutions can increase their wine quality and lower their cost of production, say Modern Cooperage. And really, what self-respecting winemaker wouldn't want that, I ask? That's my charge to you. So, the question then, gentlemen, is are there new stainless steel barriques with rotating wood stave?
True, because
Okay.
all of that stuff that's like exciting, and it's a lot of words. I think consumers eat that up, so they want to see that label of like all the things that you said.
But you're not selling. I mean, these are going to winemakers, not to consumers. I mean,
Right, but
Oh.
the consumer is going to know that the wine was
So
made like
it could
that.
be a marketable thing.
Very marketable.
okay, cool, very marketable.
Big Napa, you know.
Big yeah. Big liquids, big Napa. We're covering it all today, folks.
Big sixes that are nines.
Oh, don't mention that again. No, that's over. That's 86.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think, Sal? The stainless steel barriques with the rotating center
You
spine?
know, saying it's coming out of Napa, I would say it's true because, and I don't like to paint anything with a broad stroke, but a lot of the technological and scientific advances in winemaking tend to come out of New World, whereas Old World's a little more about tradition. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there's been a lot of money and energy put into something like this.
Okay, so true.
Yeah,
That's
true.
two trues. Jimmy, what's your take on this?
I'll go true as well. I think creating like that flavor profile at a lower price point is something that Napa in general has been trying to do forever. It's,
All right. These guys are hot, and they're on fire. That's all true. This is all fully correct. Modern Cooperage is the name of a Napa company, and they, do have this
Stainless
new
steel
stainless
barrique.
steel barrique. Yeah, and you can just put like barrel staves. Like they have a little rack inside. It's got a little crank on the end of the barrel, and you can come by and just crank your
Yeah.
juice whenever you want to. So it's kind of cool. They should be scored handsomely, Matt, for that.
Yes, and at the end of those rounds, the score is 4, 3, and 3. and I'm not telling you who is going to.
Because it might change. Right?
I'd like to can do a follow-up question on this because I was kind of fascinated by this story. You know, where do you guys fall with this in terms of, like, within the minimal intervention kind of, concepts, right? Like, we talk about, using barrels is not necessarily. I mean, for me, saying minimal intervention is just really not like putting enzymes and coloring agents and flavorings in them. I don't bother too much with, the barrels or, certainly not, certainly not, but bâtonnage, for example, doesn't bother me at all as invasive or something. So this, though, kind of feels like too much tech, and I kind of want to hate on it. But on the other hand, I don't know. Where do you fall on this? Do you think it's
I don't know.
Kind of
it turns into like playing God almost, like just like I must get it to this rather than like, making it what it should be, what it is, what you are. The end goal is where now you're dialing it all in a weird way. It's almost feels that it's like compute almost where you can, and I'm sure it could be computers that just type it in, get it to where you want. And that's fine, right? We like flavor. They want to create a flavor and they're going to be able to do it. So,
I mean, I think anything that is mass produced, and you can think of any large, we probably all use this example one time or another ourselves, but like take something like Bud Light. When you have that much production going out and to have consistency on a 12-pack you open up in Michigan compared to a 12-pack you open up in Texas and have it be identical, that's a feat in its own.
The
right?
McDonald's French fry. That's
Exactly. Okay, so, when you're talking about the differences generally in philosophy, in my opinion, between New World and Old World, whereas maybe sometimes the philosophy in New World is having an end goal in mind and doing what you can to get it there, that can be, I think that's done in two different ways. That can still be done with a minimalist approach and maybe using some extra barrique and whatnot, whereas maybe that would be, non-excusable Old World. But then there'd be like the antithesis that would be like this, So, I would agree that to me this is going like way too much.
You two are pretty clear on that. Jimmy, what's your take on it? Because, I want to say just before I throw the mic over to you, when you're talking about, Sal, the industrial scale production, this is a barrique, right? I mean, like, right? Like, This is not like a huge,
Well, enter large name winery here. Like, how many straight trailers of these barriques are they going to order?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. It takes up less space. You can fit more.
I guess the other thing is if it's a stainless steel barrique, so they're imitating the barrique flavor or effect. Does that have to be confined to the size of a traditional barrique? Yeah, because again, that's.
Yeah, I hear
the barrique's a natural thing, the use of it, but this is very much not natural to Diego's point. Right. So maybe this thing's just as big as a.
How far are we from like the PSL wine? Pumpkin spice latte for those that clarification.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You know what I mean? Where you can just call it what you want. The monster,
I feel like he's coming after me, man. Jimmy, let's forget him. You tell us what your thoughts are.
I think we're talking about two different things. I've never been one to like entirely like throw oak out as like that's not natural wine. I think using wood vessels has been common in the wine industry forever. But what we're talking about with like these barriques is definitely like going more towards that like plug and play. Like you're trying to get that specific flavor profile, like Diego said, and would I buy that wine? Probably not, but like I don't shy away from some of like I like a lot of like old school Napa Cabernets. I like Steve Mathiasen a lot. He uses some of the wineries he works with. He uses new wood or like consults with people that use new wood. So I'm not opposed to oak.
I think in that scenario, that is having an end goal in mind, right? And using different types of oak to try and get that, which is one thing, which I think is. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I think the other thing would be whatever this is.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you're looking at like high-end oak, like you're supporting a cooperage, you're supporting an artisan who makes that barrel, as opposed to just a lumberjack that like throws wood into a.
That barrel has a taste profile.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's more sustainable because those barrels are new use, then second year, then third year, and all of a sudden they're neutral and they're used for, for years after that.
Right.
And that's probably not the only. Oh, am I going here?
I think
I hear you.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm
Okay.
out.
That's probably not the only thing that is being like used in the winemaking process. So if they're using the okay, so we're still good. I'm just
here. I don't know what.
Yeah, I hear you.
okay, cool. So that's probably not the only thing they're using. So if this is just the stainless steel with a wind up motor in there, there's probably other.
It sounds like you can add in different flavor panels.
What I'm thinking is
Make your own.
How far are we from American Retsina? We'll put some pine in there, but you could also import some Raouli wood, make your own like Papena style pies.
What's Raouli wood, Jimmy?
It's the really old, like gnarly barrels that they use in Chile to make like old school Papena. That's like the
Okay, yeah.
so like farmer
They
pies.
kind of like
basically.
blown
Yes,
out
yes.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Huh. And it's called Raouli is the type,
Yeah.
the type of wood.
Or like what's the Mizunara? You could get some Japanese oak, make some whiskey, and I'm buying one of these barrels.
Yeah.
I'm doing all sorts of experiments.
And going hog wild. Yeah, I was going to say the other thing is, of course, like we kind of give grief, right, to the roto fermenter, right? And that's kind of gauche. So this is a manual a manual roto fermenter. That's not cool.
I don't know what the roto fermenter is. Would you?
Yeah, it's just a stainless steel fermenting vessel that has paddles in it, and it just rotates so you get lots of extraction. Is what it does. It's just like instead of doing punch downs or or pump over, the roto fermenter will turn it. Yeah.
Terrible.
Shame.
Oh man. I had a pun about Mizunarki, but I'm not gonna do it. That was a long time ago. So. Oh man.
Should I do another question,
Yeah,
or
let's
do you want
do
me to do
another
another
question.
one?
Yeah. Mine have been weird, so you can do one.
They're all weird, don't
Yeah, that's just how that
Don't
is.
kid yourself.
Oh, yeah. And before we get into that next question, I want to go back to you guys had this. What is this? This Chasselet, this Pourquoi Pas? What kind of wine is
I
that?
think we're on the in our glass. We have the blind.
Oh, you guys are way out in front
Well,
of it.
the-
Okay,
the
but you had
2000
the Pourquoi because it's kind of crazy. It's got a little. It's got a little prickle to
I'm
it.
sure
it's
it's
a little
changed since you've opened it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lively. It's
tons of cherry.
yeah.
Yeah, tons of cherry. A little bit like it feels like it re-fermented a little bit.
Yeah, it's crunchy.
Yeah,
It's got that like texture.
Prickles. Man, the I like.
What kind of wine is it?
It's just Gamay. It's from Beaujolais. Just like just
Oh,
normal.
oh, is it?
Normal Gamay. I wonder if my theory about why it may have re-fermented is it uses a synthetic cork, and I wonder if this was the first year that the winemakers use a synthetic cork because there's no oxygen exchange. Maybe there just wasn't enough and it just didn't. Just like okay, cool. We're gonna get all that fritzy stuff back in there.
Yeah, I wonder if it was re-fermented. It tastes straight. I mean, it doesn't taste weird. Like it just, I think it was probably just dirty, kind of dirty. But it's okay. It's kind of interesting. Yeah,
It's
crunchy
dirty.
and it's dirty. Yeah,
Leave it at that. It's dirty.
yeah, dirty and cool. All right, so let's jump into our another question for you guys. And have we done any scoring updates? I mean, you were
He said I have 10 the last time he did an update.
10. Man, you're tight today. We've been out of the studio for a while. He's not as generous as he was giving out hundreds of points and diamonds and shit before. What do you have now for these guys? What do you have for him?
So it's still 4, 3, and 3, and I'm not saying who has what.
Okay, there's that. Sorry, guys, you're gonna have to just go hard here.
Okay.
Just do your best, okay, and go for the big win. So how about? Oh, he's
Fine. All right. Saul has 4, Diego has 3, Jimmy has 3. If anybody's
I
keeping
didn't want
score,
to say anything, but I assumed that's what it was. Yeah.
so
He has
for the
gotten more
subreddit-
questions right than we have.
Yeah.
So I assumed
So
he
there
was
should be-
winning.
Oh, is that what this was?
Yeah. Okay. Is it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, more or less. Yeah. There's still plenty of opportunities. Like again, remember from the pre-show little chat we had there about going with that blind tasting, the emotive story. So have that. That's where the big. That's the big. That's where the big money comes in. So our next story then for you folks is juicy wine, but in juice box. A new trend in the China wine market is seeing the popularization of wine and juice boxes. Those small little Tetra Pak-y boxes with the hole for the straw, you know, that you can buy for the kids.
But that hole is for the straw.
It's for the straw. The hole's for the straw, yeah. And so this is a trend amongst young social drinkers, particularly in China's trendy clubs and bars. First marketed by Hubei province's food giant Great River in 2015, it wasn't until 2018 when Hong Kong entrepreneur Wei Li introduced them in her chain of fashionable downtown nightclubs. Since then, the packaging has exploded across China and even spawned collaboration labels, with international companies like Pizza Hut and Dunkin' Donuts, the latter of which ended tragically as it was unfortunately done with the Wuhan Valley Winery. So wrong time, wrong name there. 4 years on, the juice box format is resurgent, with producers touting them as being not just economical and sustainable, but roofie-proof. So I guess, you know, it's a small hole. You can't get that.
Especially if there's a straw in there. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of Mickey?
And it says only put a straw in here. Just
yeah.
they're making
Well, it's
that
going to
clear.
drop the roof. And
They're-
it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh shit.
sign says I can't.
Wrong one.
So I'm not
They're,
going
they're
to.
not making a Dune 2 popcorn reference. Okay.
So maybe, though, their greatest benefit was best expressed by Beijing nightclub goer Zhou Enlai, who said, quote, "I love them. They're just so cute," end quote. So is the juice box the hot new format in the China market for trendy nightclubs and bars?
I'm going to say no. I know that bag and box wine and all different forms of that is increasingly popular overseas. I mean, specifically like in Italy, it is what you would think would be the opposite, being such a traditional area. And what I guess what I know of the Chinese market is they want like Grand Cru and nothing else. I would have a hard time believing that people that are obsessed with Grand Cru Chablis are also like, yeah, let me drink it out of a juice box. But
Right.
I'll say false.
Okay, cool. Gentlemen, who's not? Jimmy.
I'm definitely going to say false because he's been right more than I've been right. No, I agree.
Follow the money, huh?
I agree that the Chinese market in particular seems to be focused on high-end wine. That being said, I was debating because, you know, Japanese sake and stuff is often seen in like small Tetra Pak, and so it's plausible, but I'm going to say no because there's a lot of detail and it just kind of reeked of like Matt's like storytelling.
Diego, what's your? Are you going to fall on this one?
You know, I really want it to be true, but I don't think so. I mean, the part of me. So the answer, it's false. I'm saying false.
Understood. Yeah.
But the nightclub scene, or just the level of consumerism, how it works over that way. You have ridiculous vending machines with, you name it. So
So it's possible.
That's
possible.
in that plausibility, can write me down for plausibility.
Okay.
Either true or false.
I turned the F into a P.
Yeah.
It all works.
There you go.
Very easy.
Well, you are astute, folks. It is false.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, we did make that story up. But, you know,
It was the Dunkin' Donuts that gave it away. To be honest.
yeah, really? Yeah. See, I thought I should have come up with something that, you know, like a fancy name. But Dunkin' Donuts is they're kind of going hard
I
these
think
days.
Ben Affleck would be a prime sponsor for both Dunkin' and Tetra Pak wine.
And
Yeah.
roofie-free Tetra Pak.
He's walking out of his house with a box of wine,
A cigarette.
pack of cigs. Yeah.
So one of the things that was on my mind with this one was sustainable packaging, right? I had seen, Frugal Pack does that paper, that cardboard bottle thing. There was some of it in the market here with Signal 7. Mm-hmm. My wife actually did a label design for one of those bottles. But, you know, it hasn't really exploded. And even years before that, anybody remember the, what was that football one? There was a brand that was like one of the football, like Michigan football players. Was it,
Woodson?
was it not Woodson? No, it was, who's the coach? Schembeck? It had something to do with Schembeck. I don't remember. There was a wine anyway. And I think that what's her name was bringing that in. Her name is escaping me too. This is a great podcast, by the way. In any case, they were selling it in the full size Tetra Pak. Like, what are they, half liter maybe, the kind of typical ones. And again, that didn't seize. And so I just wonder what the thoughts are about, has the time come for sustainable packaging with wines in particular? And we know about lighter glass bottles and trying to save weight there, but just more generally, more innovative types of packaging.
I think everybody's more aware and acute to it. I mean, like you said, just case in point with, the lighter glass or not such a thick glass bottle. And while you're starting to see more and more higher end wines in a bag and box, I don't know if there's going to come a time in my lifetime where we're not pouring wine out of a glass bottle. Now, a lot of these producers are, using recycled materials for the boxes, the tape, the labels. What's I've been finding extremely common in like a Abruzzo, for example, they are going to Stelvin for one reason being it's one enclosure, it's one piece as opposed to the neck, the cork, and then the cover. Yeah. So I mean, I think all of these things are happening and are going to continue to happen. Like I said, I just don't know if we're gonna in my lifetime see wine being poured out of something other than might be thin but a glass bottle.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, kind of torn about it. There's the just general tradition of it. Like when you think of wine, it looks a type of way. But a lot of that stuff is just too old, not around, too expensive. I love sustainability. It doesn't cross over very well. Having worked in retail for a while, just seeing that, like, being the last person before the end user of seeing it. There's cool stuff within our universe, sustainability, but you're paying sort of not that much more, but instead of a bagged wine or a box wine, you can get a really cool stuff. There's been really, really fun gems. I think Domaine Rollet did a Rouge, the 3 liter.
Yeah,
breaks down to like a really crazy, but it's a Jura Poussard Trousseau Pinot blend in a box. Sustainable, drinks great, came in at a really, really good price.
Like $50, I think, was what we had on the shelf for. For
So
3
that
liters.
stuff is
Well, what was reception like? I mean, both you guys had it on.
Oh, yeah, it
at
was
retail.
great.
I saw it at retail.
It sold really well. Once you break down the price, you're paying anywhere between $9 to $10 a bottle for it of the good stuff. That's cool, but then you're still paying a little bit more. I think it just
It was a little tougher for us being in mid-Michigan market. You have to kind of explain what Jura is, and then you have to explain why.
well, it's made by the Juranians.
The flowers.
Yeah.
Well, handing out copies of Wink Lorsch's book every time someone comes in, just like do your homework and then come back and buy the 3 liter.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to get people past. We were talking generally something about this before the show started, but like take Pinot Grigio for example. I mean, for so long people were presented with all these vast options of like bad Pinot Grigio that today, when you hear Pinot Grigio, first thing comes to your head is not anything nice, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of really good Pinot Grigio out there. When we're talking about sustainability and putting, trying to go towards wine in a bag in a box, people are automatically going to think of something like Franzia. And if we, as an industry, ever actually make a large push towards that will be one of the largest things to overcome is trying to tell someone that this is not of that quality.
I think there's other things that we can do as an industry to promote sustainability without overhauling like packaging lines, because it's the same thing with cans. If you're doing like Tetra Pak, like that's a massive carbon footprint to completely redo like how you package your wine. But there's like certain places where they get the raw materials for foil to go on bottles of wine are conflict areas. Cork can be in short supply. So I think like minimizing wine's footprint and things like that is overall more important than changing like the vessel that we all know and love. But I think that there's been some significant headway in both those regions too, where you're seeing like composite cork in the middle with like real cork on top, real cork on bottom. So you're getting like that seal, but the middle is recycled material. Different foil. I think Stelvins are great. I think they're kind of maligned because of like Australian wine from like the, like the 80s and 90s, like really like did some did some disservice to that closure. But I think like that is, you know, I'm never opposed to a Stelvin, and there's plenty of like high-end wines that you see in those, like Molly Duker's making like $150, $200 bottles of wine that they put a Stelvin on.
I mean, wasn't it Cade that like
Yes.
15 years ago started making their top production in Stelvin?
They do.
Because they're like, we don't want any corked bottles.
They
We
do
only make a
half
little
and
bit of
half. So I helped a friend do an inventory of a cellar in southeastern Michigan, and the collector had Cade bottles, and it's like half the case is Stelvin, half the case is cork. And I was like, are these like from the winery? Are these shiners? And he had to explain to me that like, no, they specifically package them like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's great too, because it also removes the need for a tool that needs to be manufactured. And it's, you know, little things I think make up like.
But you know, back to Diego's point, I mean, there's tradition and, you know, there's romance around, you know, popping the cork and.
Well, it does bring up, though, the other question, though. So, yeah, you can have romance, but if everybody is aging out,
They're dying.
the people who have that romantic affiliation or
Right.
attraction.
Right. Maybe it's not there anymore. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, if you have to wait, I guess, for everybody to reach a certain age before that happens, because I was thinking about, of course, just reaching out to new audiences for wine, right? There's a lot of concern that the audience for wine is shrinking, right? I mean, younger people are drinking less, you know, and is there a way to, you know, does the packaging have anything to do with bringing them into the mix?
I don't know if packaging does, but I think there's more free information now about wine than ever before. And I think that that's great. And I know that like statistics show, you know, maybe there's a smaller audience for wine, but like it's sort of like polling where it's like, what wines are we talking about when we're looking at like a shrinking audience? Is it like people aren't bringing, you know, Grand Cru wines in from France? People aren't drinking those because unfortunately most of us are priced out of a lot of wine, you know, like I'm always looking for good values. I'm always looking for things that I can get for under $20 that like, you know, I have no problem leaving in storage or like drinking it every night, like that sort of thing. But I don't know if like I buy that wine drinkers in the United States are going down, because you can just open Instagram and look at Wine Folly and she's explaining some like random region that like the average consumer would have never known anything about. And I think that is exciting and hopefully driving like more new wine drinkers.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think the can is really cool. It made it so
Yeah.
accessible, and it was just one little.
Well,
we
imagine
had it towards.
that's what I'm saying. Imagine the juice box.
Right.
You can
But that's
put
what
that
I'm
in
saying,
your,
but now
put it in your
we're
pocket.
now-
And you're like, oh.
Now we're looking at, let's do another small thing differently. I think the can is just so, it's classic. So if you want to go that route, to me, it feels gimmicky. I don't like being lied to by retail.
Yeah.
So I feel like the can was kind of like cool. Like we figured out how to drink it and put it this way. And I've had some really, really great stuff.
All those
in a
companion
can.
wines, right? Yeah.
Brock Cellar. He has canned wines and
Lubanzi.
even the price of those.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cool stuff.
All those companion wines that are in cans where he goes, it's like a Negos, but for cans. I think it's things like from different, he just takes a truck to different wineries and there you go. There's the companion wines.
I think we need to thank the founder of canned wines in America, which is Sofia Coppola, because they used to do that rosé, and that had a straw. It came with
it did have a straw.
It had a bendy straw that came attached to it. I sold a lot of that when I worked at Whole Foods. It was very
but was
popular
it-
in the Ann Arbor Whole Foods.
Was it roofie proof?
I don't know. The bendy straw probably.
Just to the point of like the shrinking wine market of, you know, of the younger generation. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't believe that to be true. I just, to me, it's like with an asterisk. Kind of to your point, is like, okay, what wines are being drank less?
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, so Antonio Galoni, who, you know, does Venice Media, became one of the things he first became famous for was his Piedmont report, which I mean I read religiously every year when it comes out. And like over the last 5 years, he's been very blunt and brash at the end of his report, talking to the producers of Piedmont, of Barolo and Barbaresco. He's like, you know, you guys got to wake up because the people that have been buying your wines for the last 30 years, when they started buying your wines, these were on the shelf in the U.S. for, you know, $25 a bottle, $30 a bottle, right? And they became hooked. And then over the last 30 years, when you went, 10% increase, 20%, 10%, 10%. They're still buying your wines because they have verticals in their cellar. They've been buying your wines for years. But when that customer dies out, right now you're asking the replacement customer to fall in love with your estate at $120 a bottle.
Right.
And good luck with
Right.
that.
Not going to happen
Yeah.
at all.
So I think
Man.
stuff like that, and you could put that to parts of Burgundy. You could say Napa Cabs. So maybe those categories are going to suffer to have replacement customers.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas there's a lot of good wine out there. There's a lot of good regions out there. So for as long as wine's been around, longer than anybody knows, I have a hard time believing it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at like the popularity of Napa Cabernet, but not looking at producers in like the Sierra foothills that have been making like incredible age-worthy Cabernets forever, or like one of my favorite winemakers, Matthew Rourke, is making you got to taste that 2013 Riesling that I left at Stadgarten, and that wine was
So
insane. Like no one could blind it. Like I opened it and it tasted like a European Riesling. So there's a lot of like really cool winemakers. I think Santa Barbara is really, really fun. I think there's a lot of like exciting things, and it's a question of like, where do I want to put my money? And like
even the drinkers in Santa Barbara, I think they have the Funk Zone, which is a downtown retail and wine bar space. So, you can get down in the Funk Zone.
But I am worried Burgundy's going to start coming for the Willamette, like Burgundy buyers that can't afford it anymore. They're going to start like coming after like my Evesham Woods and my Hayden Figs and like those wines, and it's going to bum me out if I can't continue to afford those.
I hope we're not going like too off path here. But
No.
I can see the timer. We got plenty of time.
Like when I first started getting involved in restaurants and in wine, Willamette Valley, that's going to be the new Burgundy. And, the biggest knock on it was like the inconsistent vintages,
Right.
And like when they're on, hey, it's great. But they're on like every 3 vintages. Well,
Right.
fast forward 10 years, the weather's changed a little bit. Inconsistent vintages hasn't been a problem in Oregon in years.
Well, fire, but it's been different. So you have fire.
There was a fire
that's a
2021,
new thing going on.
But you look at like 18, 19, 21, and 22. These are back to back to back incredible
That's true.
vintages. So to
That's
your
true.
point, I do think that's what happens next as the Burgundy drinkers just pivot to Oregon. And then, it'll probably happen with Oregon as well.
Yeah.
And then you move up to Onconegan, then you're in British Columbia, which I'm totally fine with. Like, I wish I could find more British Columbian Pinot in Michigan, and I haven't been able to find like any. But I think stuff like that is where the modern consumer and future consumers, I think, are going to go.
Sure.
It's like, and that's going to be really hard for you owning an importer, me working for an importer, Diego running a wine program. Like, it's going to be difficult for us to like stay on top of that stuff.
Yeah, but I also think it's been going on for a while. Like, there are some, for example, Alto Piemonte producers that are iconic. They're very hard to get your hands on. They're not cheap. Okay, take those handful out of the equation. And like, as Barolo and Barbaresco continue just every year, no matter what, to jump. Not as much as Burgundy, but they're a very close second. Is it that stretch of imagination where, Nebbiolo drinkers just tend to go to Alto Piemonte or go down to Roero, for example, and are finding these incredible Nebbiolos that are $15 on the grocery shelf?
Or, the $15 wines are going from, like you said, like Abruzzo, making cool wines that don't have to be like age-worthy, just something to get people into wine.
Right.
And also what are young drinkers drinking? Is it the people that are wanting to get drunk and obliterated every night? Right. Sure, they're not drinking Yellowtail anymore. That market may be gone.
Right.
So, but the restaurant drinker and maybe the retail drinker, they still want to, like you're saying, like a good price point on the incoming. So maybe we're not losing the people that are switching over to, pot, or they're switching over to like other, as more drugs become recreational.
Sure.
They're moving from wine, from Natty Light. They're moving towards, those ones. And we're not losing what we do, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the gateway is a little different for everybody. Right. Some people see Nebbiolo and they're like, oh shit, $15. It's a steal. Where somebody might have heard from like their buddy in Birmingham that had a great Nebbiolo, and all he knows it's $300. Like,
Yeah.
they're both right.
They're both correct. Moral of the story,
Nebbiolo's
amazing.
But they're very right, and it's like it gets hard sometimes. Again, I've spent so many years just selling to people, selling them on this thing. And it's like, yeah, I guess they're the same, but how do you get there? How can you describe sometimes to people that like there's terroir? Like, how do you legitimately explain that when you're like, they're from a very, you could probably throw a rock, get over there.
Yeah, there needs to be a channel, is what you're saying. For some people, don't arrive to the wine world via the same path, right?
Exactly.
And as long as the channels are there, people will continue to come. I think is that a way of summarizing what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Cool. Well, let's step into the next segment. Yeah, Matt, are we ready? Yeah, I am. Okay. Yeah. So this is our emotive blind tasting segment, right, guys? You remember that? So, it's not the berries, it's not the leather. It's like, does the wine transport you somewhere? Does it make you think of, I don't know, love lost or some cat you see on the street?
Yeah.
You're going to take us out, Diego, with that one?
Yeah.
Lead us off. I should say not take us out. Lead us off.
There's this like cocoa, like chocolate feel that really, like, have you ever had like a mocha and it's done very bad? And then the bottom is just the chocolate wasn't stirred. Sort of that intensity of like the cocoa, the kind of leathery, kind of cigar.
Didn't I just tell this guy like it's not about like the leather and like
but I'm explaining a really bad mocha that I had. Like that, the bottom of the mocha is so uncomfortable if it's not done right, and you're like, I just got chocolate on the bottom of my coffee rather than having it.
This is an aromatic impression you're having. Is that correct? You're not talking about flavor or aromatic?
Flavor.
Taste.
Yeah. Sort of the finish as it lingers brings me back to, and makes you want to say something. I never say anything like, can you redo my mocha because you didn't stir it? And you get to watch these people make it, and they're like,
You're watching. I know you're doing.
They're obviously skipping a step. You
should say then, now is when you stir. Just make sure.
Today's a new day for you.
Today's a new day.
Yeah.
You'll be taught.
But why am I the guinea pig of you not like trying out this new technique of making a mocha?
This may have happened on the way
it,
over.
Had a couple bad ones.
Well, that's a pretty damning story, I would say, for this wine.
Which coffee place should I avoid in
Yeah.
Disney Park?
For me,
Go, Sal, yeah.
it's more of like a memory. First time I ever had aged wine, never tasting what aged wine tastes like. It was a moment in itself of discovery and confusion and whatnot. And so
Adolescence.
for the first time, the first step I took of this, I was instantly transported back to tasting. It was a Napa cab that was 12 years old, and me and my wife we were dating at the time, but we were in the hotel room on vacation. We just checked in and popped the cork, and that's just instantly brought me back to that taste and that.
Oh, that's a cool story. That's great. Cool, Jimmy. What do you think about it? How's it hitting you? And then once you go through this, then if you guys want to take a stab at making a call on it, you can feel free. But Jimmy, how is this impressing you? This
not
wine?
to like malign my generation, but this is like a very much like millennial wine to me because it seems like it's older, it's more mature, but it's like the color isn't quite there for me to think that it's super long-term aged or like has been like stored. It's just kind of, it's like elderly but still young. So I identify heavily with this wine. This wine seems like it wants to be in bed by 9 p.m. It's like it probably wants to have pizza.
I did go to bed at 10 last night.
But no, I think it's really pretty. There's a lot of, like Diego said, there's a lot of sort of character influence on it, but it just keeps drawing me back to like some woods that I like took a hike through. It's like it's kind of earthy. Smells kind of like spring, like fresh berries. So yeah, it's taken my slightly elderly body like
This kind of brings me to like an old school chop house that's really dark inside. Everything's dark wood.
Still smells like smoke, but
It still smells like smoke, but you weren't allowed to smoke in there for 20 years.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's interesting. It's obviously we're looking at a wine then that I think we all agree it has some aging on it, probably, and it doesn't have to be super old necessarily, is what I think you're getting at, Jimmy, but it does have some aging on it.
It does seem like it was aged before it was bottled, maybe. Like maybe it
in
was
barrel.
released. Yeah, maybe it was released
Oh, you think it was aged? Oh, so not in barrel or bottle. You're just saying just somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe it was.
I think you said it was aged in barrel before bottle.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
but maybe released a little bit later than, I don't think this was, I don't know, probably wrong.
So that raises the question then. I guess the next question would be, is it, the old world, new world thing? Excuse me.
I think it's New World. I think it's fairly ripe. I think.
Yeah, it's ripe for sure, I think, yeah. Which, if I can just I'll interject. Is it okay, Matt? Can I tell a story?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thanks.
Because we don't know what this is either, actually.
No, we don't. We have no
wait,
idea.
How many points does Chot have?
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you
Before you
get
start to
Jimmy's
sleep.
10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the first time I smelled it, this is honest to God truth. This reminded me of like a girlfriend I had like when I was in high school. She was kind of older. I just met her. I was working. This is how old I am. I was working in a video store. You can't know what a video store is.
I used to ride my bike to Blockbuster.
Okay, yeah.
Was it a big chain or a local,
No,
like
this
a
is
video hut?
yeah. This is old enough. It was It was called Video
Did-
Watch.
Did it have the curtains?
Did we have the porno section?
Yeah.
I think we did actually. I don't remember, to be honest.
You wouldn't know because you wouldn't have never gone back
Yeah.
there. So
Probably, I guess.
What if somebody hit you with a 5?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll get that for you. I think we did have dirty movies. I think we did.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, remind me of this girl. So she was a little older. She was in university at the time. So she was maybe, she seemed older. I was like 18 or whatever. Is that how old I was? 17, 18? Yeah. And,
So, yeah.
yeah, thanks. I was held back.
I believe that.
at least once.
And so anyway, when I smelled this, I was like, oh, this smells it smells like mature and sophisticated. It kind of reminded
Seductive.
me.
A little
Yeah, a little seductive. Reminded me of that. Yeah.
Did you do mature activities? not those kind, but like,
Oh.
were you like going out? You said this was a girlfriend.
Correct, yeah.
Cool. Did you go out like for drinks and stuff?
Well, no, I wasn't old enough.
Oh, that's right. You were 17, 18.
So we just did mature things.
Sure things.
So yeah, that's where we are with. That was my impression of the wine, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have one, Matt? Sure. Any kind of sense? We never talk about us.
Yeah. I believe this is it's a ruby color and oh wait, I'm breaking the rules.
There you go. Rules.
What? Just shaking my head around. Like, what is this place? Oh, geez. Now I'm on the spot.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Can we do 17 minutes of dead air while I think of something? Man. I'm thinking of fall walks in the autumn, autumnal afternoon, dying light, and the corn is breezing through. The wind is breezing through the corn, and then you get all the gravel goes into your chacos, and you're kind of walking around, and it gets a little blistery, and you kind of feel like, no, I probably should have worn socks with these, and it's kind of a weird.
Are you just thinking about pasties now?
You're in the corn. You said
That's like what I'm thinking. Like when you say you're like walking through the woods, I imagine you're also
Yeah.
thinking about like UP pasties.
Yes, I am. This would go really good with the pasty, is what I'm thinking.
This is some deep Michigan learning here. This is like, it's like he's some hippie in Chacos running through the cornfields and dreaming of pasties. That's so Michigan. It's ridiculous. So that's cool. Do any of you guys want to take a stab at? This is hard to call. I don't know. You said New World,
I think
Jimmy.
this is obviously going to probably be wrong, but I'm going to say New World Gamay.
Wow, that's a heavy one. That's cool. Because we do have those chocolate things, Diego. You brought that up, but I don't know where that puts it.
I'm traditionally really bad at this.
Yeah.
It's tough to begin with. I don't know if I want to
I'm
take a stab at
historically
this.
bad at blind tasting.
So
So
how
how
about-
like Napa Zinfandel and
So how about this question? Do you like it?
yes.
I think it's great.
Yep.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Okay.
It's a little heavy and a little dark for like my personal everyday drinking palate. I think it's a very well made wine. I think it's delicious.
I think it needs food. I think like this over a meal,
Yeah. There's something about it that makes me think about American oak. I don't know. I'm dying to know what it is.
If I had to take a stab,
we-
like I
Chad
said,
is dying.
Historically wrong, I'd say
He's very old.
a Cabernet blend from probably California. You know, maybe not 100% cab, but
See, I'm using context clues, so that's a Burgundy bottle.
I didn't see
It's
that.
wrapped.
points
In,
for
yeah,
that?
it's wrapped in foil. It's very revealing. We should put a little
I
something
should
a
have kept
little,
it back there.
something a little baggier on there. A bigger sweater. Well, cool. Let's open it up. Who wants to? Can one of you guys grab that? And
Well, I'll make a call.
oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
I'm going to say Barbaresco.
From where?
I'm going to say 5 to 7 years.
Amarone.
Hey.
Wow.
2008.
2008. Dang.
Who imports this?
Nice. Well, that explains the chocolates.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
That's 2008, and that's still got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Got
it's
a lot
fine,
of old
right?
wine
I mean,
on
it's-
this table right now.
Yeah.
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 Very cool. Well, that's nice. I think they did a good job, Matt. How do you feel about those performances? I think the stories were pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Geez,
Do we declare winners? I don't even remember.
I think in this case, since Saul got one more than everybody else,
I think Saul's my winner. He's the People's Champion at
People's
least.
champ.
I
All
didn't
right.
want to say anything.
You get him to bring him back later in season 2 to defend his title.
Yeah, the shirt is still white.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
I thought for sure that was not going to be the case. My wife looked at me cross-eyed when I walked out. She's like, "Good luck."
Hey, the day's not over yet, Sal.
Yeah, I know.
Sal, there's more wine yet, so
I know.
don't get too confident.
All right. Well, signing off. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and being a part of this weird experiment. And it is an experiment. People have. Never mind. All right. So.
Yeah, no, gentlemen, thanks so much for coming out
Thank you.
and
Thank
being
you.
on the show. It was a lot of fun. Let's stick around. We have the new crew is in here ready to go. They're chomping at the bit over here, so let's enjoy some more wine and have some fun. And thanks to everyone for listening. That's how you say it. All right. Thanks. Take care. Thanks. Welcome to 10 Questions, 10 Minutes with The Real Wine Show, where we do a quick and irreverent interview with some of the most fascinating people in the wine industry.
We sit down with world-famous winemakers, importers, industry folks, collectors, and everyday consumers, providing an intimate and insightful look into wine culture.
Sean O'Keefe,
Hello.
great to be here with you in the lovely Mari Vineyards here in Traverse City. Thanks for taking the time out to talk with us on The Real Wine Show with our 10 minutes, 10 questions segments.
Cool. Yeah, we're deep in the depths of Mari, a couple of stories underground in the lab. Yeah.
It's an amazing space. We love it. It's an amazing and unique winery in Michigan. So thank you again. You ready to get into it?
I am
Let's
ready.
hit it. We have
Yes.
10 minutes.
Okay,
Timer's
shoot.
running, so let's go. Classic or modern?
Well, modern is the early 20th century. So yeah, definitely. Classic.
Definitely
yeah.
modern?
Well, I like that whole, like that from 1910s to 20s thing when everything was still forming shape and all that. Modern, I don't think anything's modern now. We're post modern at this point.
Okay.
So
yeah, excellent.
That's yeah.
And so how would that relate to your wine making? How about that? Your approach to winemaking? Do you think of it in those terms at all? It could be a yes or no. You don't have to go.
I would say minimalist. So yeah, maybe, but no, I
Not a lot.
I relate more to wine through music and modern arts, art forms I grew up with and all that. So I don't really think of like headless Greek statues or things or stuff like that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, then what's our second question is, this is a tough one because this is the eternal fish or chicken.
Oh, it's easy. I haven't eaten chicken willingly in 30 years. So, and fish, I'm trying to have as much as I can because it's all gonna be gone in my lifetime. So
Yeah. What is going on with the fish around here?
the planet's dying.
The mercury and what? There's all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a Marvin Gaye song. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the guidelines on Lake Michigan fish? Like how much are you supposed to consume?
Well, just the big fatty fish. If you're pregnant and all that, you shouldn't. But I mean, probably. I don't really think about it. I'm already an old geezer, so I'm probably loaded with toxic metals, so I don't really care.
So you're either going to make it or not. It might have a preservative effect. We don't know at this point. So
I like smelt, yeah. So
yeah, smelt's great. Does the smelt still run? That used to be a thing.
no, they get most from Canada now. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, interesting, fascinating.
they're nice when you bite them off, though, and they have the little like spinal column, the nerve endings, and all that. It's very graphic. So
I've not had that experience. I've had the headless fried,
yeah.
but that's it. So, speaking of, you mentioned Canada, Canadian or Mexican?
Well, both our neighbors, but I definitely go with Mexico. That's where I would like to be right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and all the internet. I mean, that's a tough one because all the French and the other influence in Quebec but Mexico's got such an awesome hodgepodge of things that it's just one of the most unique places in the world. Yeah.
Right. And what about Mexican wine? Have you any experience with that? Have you tried?
I've had some from up when I was down in a couple years ago, and most of the ones I tried were trying to aim to be like respectable, like all the great wines, whatever. And so it didn't have a lot of personality yet, but the quality was there. So it's just a matter of time that comes into play. And I wasn't in the wine regions. I just got what I could find in the little shop, down from the sailboat. So
yeah. So that's funny. You mentioned that they're chasing like the major, like the classical paradigms, right? Trying to make those big impressive wines like the Bordeaux and this kind of a vein.
Yeah. And a little over polished. Yeah. Just too polished, too trying to appeal to everybody instead of like, hey, this is what we have. Let's lean into this, and either they love us or hate us. And that's coming from Michigan. That's what we do here too.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Thank you for taking the bait.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was getting at. Are there parallels?
No,
there?
we have to learn to be a little freaky and lean into some of the things that we consider. Some people might consider our I won't say our weak points, but we have acidity. We have all these other things, and instead of trying to hide it with sugar and other things, lean into it and become a master of acidity. And
right. Yeah,
and then that's where terroir develops over. Give us a couple of more centuries, and we'll be there.
Great, that's good to hear. We're excited about that. And the wines, I would say the Mari wines that you're making are showing.
I'm trying to do as fast as I can because I only have about 15 more years. So I got to advance the ball as much as I can. So
it's moving. We're rolling with it. Pump over or punch down?
Oh, I pump overs. Punch downs are you get your nose in there, and it's more visceral. But with pump overs, you get that nice aeration. You have temperature control in the tank. Oh wait, I manipulate wines. I change the temperature. But it keeps the fruit flies out, and I just like. And heat is one of the great things that can extract for reds at least. It's just obviously for pump over punch downs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pump overs anytime.
Okay, and is that something that you would also say is particular to our terroir, or is this?
I think it's a winemaker preference and all that. Punch downs have that romantic aspect of, and it's really nice because you really smell the wine and you're down in there. But you can do it with pump overs too. You just have to go out of your way to pay attention.
Okay, great. Ooh, I like this one. The Scorpions or Fear?
Oh.
Because you're a music man, that's why I had to put that question.
Well, I saw both of them in concert.
Did you really? You saw Fear?
Yeah, Fear. I almost got beat up by the Appleseed. They had a bunch of skinheads were in the audience, and I was wearing something that looked like a turban or something at the time. And they basically leaving, pointed me out from the stage, and goes like, basically like, go get the raghead or something. So I'm not too big fan of. I don't know if it was a joke, because Fear you can never tell.
You can't tell.
Are they like?
No, we don't know.
Like. Are they offensive louts? Or are they like joking about? I can't tell.
Right.
Scorpions, Berlin Wall falling.
Riffs, though.
I would still like
Scorpions. That's fine. We're not here to fight.
I'll still stick with Fear, even despite all those caveats. Yeah.
Heavy. That's what I like too. All
right.
right.
Beef bologna, man. Classic song. Modern classic song.
There we go. Tirol de Go or Refosco? You make both.
Tirol de Go easily. Refosco's such a prickly pear. I love it, but I don't recommend anybody else to do what I'm doing but Tirol de Go has a big future here. It has those Syrah genes in it that you get those dark berry flavors that aren't normally present in a lot of the Bordeaux varieties we grow here or Burgundy varieties. It's a wonderful, and because we have lighter soils here, I think we keep some of the vigor down that plagues some of the more poor examples of Tirol de Go, and because
they can get a little insipid when they're just
Tirol de Go.
You mean? Or?
Well, when I first tried, I remember thinking of Tirol de Go as like the Italian Dornfelder. I mean, it has color and acid, but it's usually there to fix things and all that. And then of course, you have Fordori, out there, and that's kind of where they can go and
become muscular.
Yeah, but they grow here in a climate very, very different from Trentino. So yeah.
Okay, so Tirol de Go. All right. Spring or fall?
Fall. I'm a dark soul. I like the sense of senescence and the imminent like winter and everything dying and going into sleep underground. Absolutely.
I love asking those questions to winemakers, of course, because fall. I mean, you guys are busy.
Oh yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah, but
That's not part of it. It's just
We had like that nice warm up last year. I was like swimming. It was like 70 degrees in October, and took a day off from harvesting and went swimming.
You said here in northern Michigan it was
Yeah.
60 degrees yesterday. You said
Yeah, I
in
know.
February.
So yeah, we're all doomed.
American oak or Slavonian oak?
Slavonian easily. Nothing against American oak. It just has that vanilla component that you find in whiskeys and other things like that just don't mesh well with our wines. It's not a if they could. It's different.
Have you tried it?
Slavonian oak?
No, American. Have you played with American oaks?
Back at Sugar and Travers. No, I just don't. I don't like it. It makes it gives everything like a Spanish kind of like that weird vanilla Spanish thing going on, and that doesn't mesh well with our style of wine up here. So
I see. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. Do you think American wine or American oak will make a comeback? What's the future for? Do you have a projection on it? Have you thought about that, or is it something you do a lot with barrels? And
it's a different species, and I don't know. I mean, with better barrel making and all that, but at some point, you either like vanilla or not, and it works for so many things, and they should use it for what it's good for. But I just don't. I don't see it. Yeah.
Right on. Pho or ramen?
Pho, I think it's. I like.
There's a lot of diversity in the ramen bowl. You know that.
Yeah,
Like
I'll still go
sausages.
pho. Yeah.
American cheese. If you're doing the
No,
Korean
that's back to
style.
that Canadian question. Yeah, I was thinking of that as a food question. I don't. What's the. Anyways, back to the pho easily. I mean, I wish I had more. I'm in northern Michigan, so I have to make it myself. Or there is one nice place.
Yeah.
There's two places now in Traverse City, so we're getting we're getting somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. Do you have a preference for one because of its friendliness with wine, or is it? What's the?
I just like the soupiness of pho.
The broth.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm with you there. Okay, and so our last question for you,
I made it. Cool.
Mr. Sean O'Keefe. Yeah, I think we did it pretty good here. What is the best Mari wine with classic cheese and potato pierogies? That's a Michigan thing.
I think our best series Ramato, which is a Pinot Gris fermented on skins, it just has a little bit of a tea-like bitterness that I like with like dough and potatoes and cheese. It just seems like something. That's the one I would go with. Yeah,
Super. When I was putting this question together, you think about the cheese and potato pierogi, and you can go either way, almost like white or red was in my mind. But I like how you split the difference there with the Ramato with the skin contact.
A lot of our
with
wines. So
Pinot
like
Grigio.
up in Friuli, they have what's it called, Frica, where it's like a cheese that's fried,
fried
and that's kind of a
cheese,
variation on that, and that goes
Yeah.
with all those wines that we're trying to grow here. So, I mean, what doesn't go with like,
With
cheese
delicious wine.
and starch and all that? Yeah. So, but I like the Ramato. That's what I picked.
Awesome. Well, good. Yeah, I think we just hit the 10-minute mark, so
Cool.
we did it, man. Thank you so much.
Voila.
I appreciate you having me out. I appreciate you taking the time, and best wishes to you. We'll have you back down for one of the full episodes sometime soon, I hope.
Look forward to it.
Thanks.